You've been told that manifesting your dream life is hard, that it requires endless rituals, constant effort, and a mind disciplined enough to never waver. You've heard that you must visualize every detail, chant the perfect affirmations, and grind tirelessly to raise your vibration. But here's the truth they never told you. Manifestation is not meant to be hard. In fact, quantum manifestation is astonishingly simple. So simple that almost no one gets it right. Because while everyone is busy trying to do manifestation, the real magic happens when you learn how to be it. You see, right now, in this very moment, you are floating in a vast ocean of energy, a quantum field of infinite possibility. Every potential version of you already exists within this field. The wealthy you, the healed you, the fulfilled you, the joyful you. They're not waiting to be created. They're simply waiting to be chosen. But here's the mistake most people make. They approach manifestation like a battle to be won. They try to overpower reality with sheer willpower. They repeat affirmations that don't feel true, visualize outcomes they secretly doubt, and force positivity while their body still hums with fear, scarcity, and tension. And that's exactly where the system collapses. Because in the quantum world, forcing is friction. Every time you struggle to manifest, you send out the vibration of struggle itself. Every time you try harder, you affirm the belief that you don't yet have what you desire. The universe doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your state of being. So, let's strip this all back. Let's return to the simplicity that was always meant to be. Manifestation isn't about doing more. It's about aligning deeper. It's about remembering that the quantum field is not outside of you. It is you. And when you align your inner state with the frequency of your desired reality, the universe has no choice but to rearrange itself in your favor. Because this isn't magic, it's resonance. You don't attract what you chase. You attract what you are. Quantum manifestation is not about getting what you want. It's about collapsing into the version of reality where what you desire already exists. It's not about bending the external world into your favor. It's about tuning your internal signal so precisely that the outer world has no choice but to match it. Right now, all around you, the quantum field hums with infinite possibilities. Every potential reality, success and failure, abundance and lack, love and loneliness, health and struggle, already exists as waves of probability, waiting for one thing: a coherent observer. And that observer is you, your focus, your attention, your emotion. They are the sculptors of your universe. They are the silent architects of the timeline you live in. But here's where most people get stuck. They observe life through fear. They focus on what's missing. They vibrate in the frequency of lack, while desperately trying to attract abundance. And in the language of the quantum, that isn't a signal, it's noise. You see, you've been taught to chase what you want. But the real art of manifestation is becoming the version of you that no longer needs to chase. Because the version of you who has already received doesn't pursue. They radiate. They remember a simple but forgotten truth. I am already entangled with the life I desire. The field is waiting for my clarity, not my desperation. Your job is not to push harder. Your job is to become clearer. So why don't most people do this? Because simplicity is disarming. Because letting go feels like surrender. Because we've been conditioned to equate control with power. But here's the paradox no one talks about. The moment you stop needing something so badly, the universe finally delivers it to you with ease. Think back to a time in your life when something came effortlessly. Maybe you met the perfect person by chance. Maybe an opportunity appeared out of nowhere. Maybe an idea struck you when you weren't even trying. What was the common thread? You weren't gripping. You weren't forcing. You were simply open, aligned, available. That's quantum manifestation in motion. Whether you realized it or not, you were operating from coherence. You were allowing, not chasing. And the field responded instantly. Because here's the secret the mind doesn't want to believe. The quantum doesn't care about your words. It responds to your energy. You can repeat, "I am wealthy" 1,000 times. But if your body is still trembling with fear, if your heart is clenched in scarcity, if your nervous system is addicted to struggle, then the field has no choice but to reflect that inner chaos back to you, not as punishment, but as precision. The universe isn't judging you, it's mirroring you. Every vibration you emit is an instruction to reality itself. So, when you release the grip, when you surrender the chase, you don't lose your power, you activate it, because clarity is louder than effort, peace is stronger than force, and surrender is the highest form of control. Quantum manifestation begins at the precise moment you stop trying to get and start learning to be. It's when your desire no longer lives outside of you, waiting to be achieved, but starts breathing within you, vibrating through every cell of your being. You become the signal. You stop chasing the vibration. You embody it. You no longer beg the universe to notice you. You simply resonate so clearly that the universe has no choice but to respond. Because, in the quantum field, reality does not follow effort, it follows alignment. It listens not to your struggle, but to your state. But this leads us to a powerful question. What, exactly, does the quantum field respond to? Is it your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, your actions, or something deeper, a harmony between them all? This is where most manifestation teachings lose their coherence. They focus on fragments of the truth instead of the wholeness of it. They tell you to think positive, but they never show you how to release the trauma stored in your body that keeps you looping in fear. They tell you to visualize, but they never address the subconscious sabotage quietly whispering, "You don't deserve this." They tell you to affirm success, while your nervous system is still bracing for failure, and so the signal you send out is fractured. One part of you believing, another part doubting, another still hiding in survival. But the quantum doesn't hear fragments. It listens to the total frequency, the integrated, embodied signal. It reads the sum of your coherence, not the volume of your affirmations. That's why alignment isn't a mental trick. It's not about convincing your mind. It's about synchronizing your entire being. Alignment is a full body, full system, full field shift. It's when thought, emotion, energy, and body all move in unison, singing the same frequency of truth. When that happens, manifestation stops being effort. It becomes inevitability. Because the universe doesn't need to be convinced, it only needs to be clear. In the next part of our journey, we'll go deeper into the elegant mechanics of this mystery. We'll explore how the quantum field truly works, why the observer effect matters, what the wave collapse actually means, and how your subconscious mind is broadcasting energetic signals even when you're not aware of it. We'll unravel the science behind what so many call magic, and you'll begin to see that manifestation isn't a battle of will. It's a dance of resonance. It's not about trying harder. It's about tuning finer. So, here's my open question to you, and I invite you to breathe this in deeply and sit with it. Not as an idea, but as an energy. Where in your life are you trying so hard that you've become the very block you're trying to break through? Let that question echo through your awareness for a moment, because sometimes the only thing standing between you and your highest timeline is the grip you refuse to release. Are you ready to go deeper into the quantum with me? Then take a breath, still your mind, and open your field. Because the mystery you've been dancing around your entire life is about to reveal itself. The quantum field is not responding to your wishes. It's responding to your coherence. At its deepest level, quantum manifestation isn't about your thoughts alone, or your emotions alone, or even your actions alone. It's about the sacred harmony between them, a unified signal that the field can read without distortion. Think of the quantum field as a cosmic translator. It doesn't hear your words. It decodes your vibration. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions are aligned, perfectly tuned to the same frequency, your message to the universe becomes crystal clear. The vibration is steady. The field recognizes you instantly, and reality begins to rearrange itself in your favor with effortless precision. But when your thoughts are pulling in one direction, your emotions are tangled in another, and your actions are scattered or disconnected, your signal becomes distorted, the message is scrambled, and the quantum field mirrors back not clarity, but chaos. This is where one of the most profound discoveries of quantum physics comes into play, the observer effect. At the quantum level, everything exists in a state of pure potential, a shimmering wave of infinite possibilities, known as the wave function. But the moment an observer, you focus his attention on a specific possibility, that wave collapses. The unseen becomes seen. Energy crystallizes into matter. A potential timeline becomes a lived event. You are not merely living in the universe. You are participating in its creation. But here's the hidden truth most people overlook. The observer isn't just your conscious mind. It's also your subconscious. So even if you consciously desire abundance, if your subconscious is wired for fear, scarcity, or survival, that deeper signal overrides your surface intention. It's like broadcasting onto frequencies at once. The field listens to the louder one. And in the quantum game, the subconscious always wins. That's why so many people feel like they're running in circles, saying affirmations, visualizing outcomes, doing everything right, yet still manifesting struggle. They're aligning the conscious mind, but ignoring the deep programs pulsing beneath awareness. You cannot fake coherence. You either are it, or you aren't. But the mystery goes even deeper. Scientists like Dr. Joe Dispenza and Dr. Bruce Lipton have revealed something extraordinary. Your heart generates an electromagnetic field far stronger than your brain's. This heart field radiates outward, extending several feet beyond your body, interacting directly with the quantum field that surrounds and sustains you. When your heart and brain are in coherence, you become a living beacon of harmony, a transmitter of pure, stable signal. The quantum field hears you clearly, and the response is almost instantaneous. But when your heart and mind are out of sync, when your thoughts say yes, but your emotions whisper no, when your mind dreams of abundance, while your heart still aches from lack, the signal weakens, it fragments, and the universe mirrors back your inner dissonance. This is why manifesting from the mind alone so often fails, because thought without feeling is static. It has no life, no frequency, no resonance. It's the emotion, the felt vibration, that gives your intention form. The quantum doesn't respond to what you say. It responds to what you embody, to what you become. You can't just tell the field what you want. You must become the vibrational match to it. That means tuning every layer of your being, your body, your breath, your nervous system, your beliefs, your daily choices, into harmony. It's not a ritual you do once. It's a living practice. It's the art of walking through life as if your desires are already fulfilled, not because you're pretending, but because, in the quantum realm, they already exist. And when your inner world aligns perfectly with that truth, reality has no choice but to catch up. Because in the end, manifestation is not an act of forcing. It's an act of remembering who you are, remembering that your signal creates your world, and remembering that coherence, not effort, is the true language of the universe. Let's take this out of theory and into real life for a moment. Imagine you're trying to manifest love. You write the affirmations. You create the vision board. You visualize your ideal partner, every detail, every perfect moment. You do everything the manifestation books told you to do. But deep down, there's a quiet ache that won't go away. A whisper that says, I'm not enough. Your nervous system is braced for rejection. Your heart is armored, afraid to open fully, afraid to be seen. And so, even as you reach outward for love, your energy is subtly pushing it away. The quantum field feels that tension. It picks up the contradiction. And what does it mirror back? More longing, more searching, more almost, but not quite. It's not that the universe is withholding love from you. It's that the field is perfectly mirroring the vibration you're broadcasting. It's not punishment, it's precision. So, what's the shift? The shift is not in chasing harder. The shift is into coherence, into feeling whole now, into practicing the emotions of love before the partner arrives, into embodying the vibration of being cherished, seen, and safe before anyone else validates it. Because when you feel love within, you become the frequency of love itself. And when you become the frequency, the form has no choice but to follow. The timeline collapses, and love manifests not as pursuit, but as reflection. Now, I know that sounds profound, maybe even too simple, but that's the secret most people miss. The quantum responds faster when you let go of control, when you stop trying to force outcomes and start tending to your internal state. This is why the title of this message says, it's simple, yet almost nobody does it. Because the human mind loves to complicate. It wants formulas. It wants 10 steps. It wants guarantees. But the quantum field isn't a machine to be programmed. It's a mirror. It's a dance partner. It's alive, intelligent, responsive, and it's waiting for you to meet it with presence. You don't command the quantum with effort. You communicate with it through energy. So, right now, I want to invite you into a moment of practice. Take a deep breath. Let it fill you fully. And as you exhale, feel the weight of striving begin to melt away. Notice your body. Notice where you're holding tension. In your shoulders, your jaw, your chest. Notice the stories still running in the background. The what-ifs, the not-yets, the quiet I'm trying. And just for this moment, soften. Loosen the grip. Let go of needing to fix or figure it all out. Let the chase dissolve. Feel what it's like to be okay right here, right now, without needing a single thing to change, because this, right here, this is where your power begins. In presence, in coherence, in the stillness beneath the noise. Before we move forward, I want to invite you to anchor this moment, to make it real. If something in you is stirring right now, if your intuition feels alive, if you can sense even the smallest spark of recognition, then take a simple action. Hit that subscribe button. Join this space, this field of awakening, this conversation, this growing community of conscious creators. And in the comments, I want you to write one word, just one, that names the energy you want to embody this week. Maybe it's trust, maybe it's ease, maybe it's joy, maybe it's faith. Whatever word rises first in your heart, that's your signal. Write it, name it, claim it, because the moment you name it, you start to align with it. You tell the field, this is who I am now. And when that signal goes out, the universe always responds. Are you ready to explore the part of manifestation that almost no one talks about? The part that's so disarmingly simple, it almost feels like cheating. Then, let's move into the next layer. Because the truth, most people aren't failing at manifestation because it's hard. They're failing because they keep doing the wrong kind of work. They're over-efforting in a system that only responds to ease. So, why is it that with all the books, courses, and endless YouTube videos on manifestation, so many still feel stuck, frustrated, and disappointed? The answer is both simple and uncomfortable, because letting go feels unnatural. The human mind is addicted to control. We've been conditioned to believe that the more we struggle, the more we deserve, that suffering somehow equals worth, that if we just work harder, push harder, grind longer, success will finally reward us. So, when we meet a truth like quantum manifestation, a truth that whispers, stop forcing and start aligning, our entire system short circuits, because this approach doesn't feed the ego's need for control. It invites surrender. And surrender to the untrained mind feels like loss of power, when in reality, it's the moment your true power finally wakes up. Most people who fail at manifestation are caught in what I call the control trap. They keep trying to micromanage the universe. They visualize abundance, but then check their bank account every hour, heart pounding with anxiety. They script about love, but obsessively scan their phone, refreshing messages, wondering, why haven't they replied? They affirm perfect health, but wake up every morning scanning their body for symptoms, searching for evidence of progress. In doing this, they send one powerful signal to the quantum field. I don't trust it. They are affirming one thing consciously, but broadcasting the opposite subconsciously. And that contradiction fractures their coherence. Because remember, the quantum field doesn't speak English, or Spanish, or any human language. It speaks the language of energy, and energy never lies. You can say, I am abundant, 1,000 times, but if your body is clenched in fear, if your breath is shallow with stress, if your mind is looping with doubt, the field listens to that deeper vibration. That's what it mirrors. And this, right here, is why so many people are exhausted on their spiritual journey. They're doing all the things, the affirmations, the visualizations, the rituals, the scripting, but they're doing it from a nervous system stuck in survival mode, from a vibration of scarcity, hypervigilance, and control. And so, energetically, they're not living in the timeline of having. They're living in the timeline of trying to get. And the quantum field mirrors that perfectly, so they attract more waiting, more trying, more efforting, because the field is simply echoing the energy of the seeker, not the receiver. But here's where it gets even more subtle and even more powerful. Your subconscious mind runs about 95% of your life. It's the invisible autopilot shaping your habits, your emotional reactions, your identity, your limits. You may consciously crave a breakthrough, but if your subconscious is still anchored in old stories like, I'm not enough, nothing works out for me, I always have to fight for everything, then those stories become the true observer. They collapse the wave into familiar outcomes, the same loops, the same struggles, the same almost but not quite. This is why affirmations without embodiment feel hollow, because the mind can say it, but the body doesn't believe it. This is why visualization without nervous system regulation collapses, because you can't visualize safety when your body doesn't feel safe to receive. And this is why action without aligned identity leads to burnout, because no amount of action can override the frequency of unworthiness. You don't attract what you want. You attract what your subconscious believes you deserve. Until you rewrite that deep code, you'll keep chasing the dream from a vibration that keeps it just out of reach. But once you shift that inner frequency, once coherence replaces control, once surrender replaces striving, the field responds instantly, because clarity and trust speak the language the universe understands. So, what can you actually do? First, understand this truth. Quantum manifestation is not another spiritual tool you tack onto your to-do list. It's not an app, a morning ritual, or a shiny new hack. It's a recalibration of your entire system, a remembrance, a returning. It's the moment your inner frequency begins to harmonize with the reality you've been chasing, and the chase ends, because you finally are the vibration of what you desire. This is not about adding more steps. It's about becoming the version of you who already lives in that timeline, the one where what you want has already unfolded, naturally, effortlessly, obviously. You don't wait for proof to believe. You believe until proof has no choice but to appear. Let's make this tangible. If you desire abundance, you don't wait until the money arrives to feel abundant. You start now. You begin living with generosity, with yourself first. You walk with the energy of someone who trusts life's flow. You pay attention to the abundance already surrounding you, the air you breathe, the water you drink, the opportunities that appear when you're present enough to see them. You stop micromanaging every outcome, and instead, you start broadcasting trust, because trust is the frequency that unlocks every quantum door. If you desire love, you don't sit waiting for someone to complete you. You start loving yourself as though you already are the beloved. You open your heart, even if it trembles a little. You soften the walls you've built to stay safe, and you let yourself feel again. You become the vibration of love before love arrives. You stop seeking validation and start living as though you are already enough, because you are. You always were. And if you desire healing, you stop searching your body for what's broken. You begin nurturing what's beautiful, what's working, what's alive. You shift from survival to resilience. You offer gratitude for the miracle of the body that carries you, even as it's still unfolding its restoration. You stop being at war with your own form, and you start partnering with it. And here's the quantum paradox. The moment you stop needing it so desperately, the moment you release the tension of trying to make it happens faster. Not because the universe is playing games, but because you've stopped being the resistance. You are no longer the friction. You have become the flow. So pause with me, take a deep breath in, and ask yourself gently, where in your life are you still gripping the steering wheel with white knuckles? Where are you still measuring, tracking, forcing, chasing? Where are you still trying to prove something to the universe that has already said yes? What would happen if you loosened your grip by just 10%? If you let the river carry you instead of fighting the current? Feel into that? Because that tiny shift, that subtle act of trust, isn't passivity. It's power in its purest form. This is not about sitting back and doing nothing. It's about moving from control to co-creation. It's about aligning your frequency so cleanly, so coherently, that the field has no choice but to match it. That shift, delicate yet revolutionary, is where quantum manifestation finally begins to work. And in the next part, we'll go even deeper. We'll explore the simple, but rarely practiced techniques that help you realign your system, regulate your state, and become the clearest possible signal to the quantum field. Because once your inner frequency is pure, the universe cannot help but respond. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. Now we arrive at the threshold, the most powerful truth in quantum manifestation, the truth that dissolves confusion, bypasses gimmicks, and reveals the real architecture of creation itself. But before we step through, pause for a moment, because what we're about to explore isn't just philosophy. It's the living key that rewires your entire relationship with reality. In this next phase, we'll explore how to dissolve resistance without bypassing your real emotions, how to build trust with your subconscious, and how to step into the timeline you desire, not as a dreamer chasing a vision, but as an embodiment of what already exists. So, let me ask you a question, one that only you can answer. Where in your life are you gripping so tightly that you've become the very block you're trying to remove? Breathe into that. Because awareness is the first crack in the armor, and through that crack, light begins to pour in. Now, here we stand, right at the edge of the most misunderstood truth in manifestation. The truth hidden in plain sight. It's this: you do not manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. This isn't a poetic metaphor. It's the foundational law that governs how the quantum field mirrors your existence. The universe, this vast intelligent field of potential, is not responding to your wish list, your words, or your Pinterest perfect affirmations. It is responding to your state of being, to the vibrational signature you broadcast every second of every day. That signature, that pulse of consciousness, is your true prayer, your true command, your true creative power. It's not what you do that matters most, it's what you are while doing. Because energy precedes form, being precedes becoming, and frequency precedes manifestation. You can say I am abundant all day long, but if your nervous system is wired for scarcity, if your heart is closed in protection, if your breath is shallow and tight with anxiety, then your frequency says, I don't trust life. And the quantum, which only mirrors truth, will respond faithfully to that vibration, not to punish you, but to show you precisely what you're embodying. So the question becomes, not how do I get what I want, but how do I become the one who already has it? Because once you shift being, you don't have to chase reality. Reality begins to reorganize around you. Think of it this way. You are not calling your desires in, you are calling yourself into the frequency where those desires already exist. The field doesn't speak words, it speaks energy. And energy never lies. You can't trick the universe with affirmations. You can't manipulate the quantum with pretense. It reads coherence. It reads truth. It reads the vibration of who you are when no one is watching. So, your real work, the sacred work, is to refine your signal, to dissolve what is false, to bring your body, your mind, and your heart into resonance, moment by moment, choice by choice, breath by breath. It's in the way you wake up in the morning, in how you speak to yourself when you make a mistake, in whether you meet the world with contraction or curiosity, because that is your signal. The quantum field is always listening, not to your words, but to your frequency. And that frequency, your beingness, is your order to the universe. So the next time you set an intention, don't ask, how do I make this happen? Ask, who must I become for this reality to feel natural? Because when who you are aligns with what you desire, there is no gap to close. The field doesn't have to deliver anything new. It simply reveals what was always there. That's the secret. The reason manifestation sometimes feels like magic and other times feels impossible. It's not about forcing outcomes. It's about embodying alignment. When you are the frequency, you attract nothing because everything already flows toward you. So, here's your invitation. Stop trying to get there. Start being there, right now, in this moment, with this breath, because you are not separate from what you seek. You are the signal that summons it. And when that truth fully lands in your body, manifestation ceases to be a practice. It becomes a natural state of being. Let me explain this with a metaphor. Imagine you're a radio. If you want to hear jazz, you don't sit there demanding jazz from the universe while your dial is tuned to heavy metal. You have to change the dial. You have to align your frequency with the signal you wish to receive. Quantum manifestation works the same way. You cannot pull in the timeline you desire while vibrating in the frequency of the timeline you are trying to leave behind. So, how do you change the dial? It begins with awareness, becoming conscious of your current frequency, not just your thoughts, but your feelings, how your body moves through the day, how you breathe when stress hits, the stories looping quietly in the background of your mind. Most of us are not manifesting deliberately. We're on autopilot, repeating the same emotional states, the same reactions, the same energetic broadcasts. And the field, it mirrors them perfectly. The shift begins the moment you interrupt the pattern, not with force, not with frantic effort, but with simple, embodied practices. It can be subtle, a conscious breath in a moment of anxiety. It can be gentle, placing your hand on your heart when self-doubt spirals. It can be bold, asking, what would the version of me who already has this do right now? And then taking one small action from that place. Because here's what no one tells you. The quantum doesn't require perfection. It only responds to coherence. Coherence is when your thoughts, emotions, and actions move in the same direction. It's when you stop saying one thing, feeling another, and doing something entirely different. It's when your whole system hums with a single, unified signal. And when that happens, even briefly, you create a gravitational pull in the field. Reality begins to bend toward you. Let's get practical. If you want to embody abundance, practice generosity, not just with money, but with your attention, your time, your energy. Train your nervous system to feel I have enough, even if the numbers in your bank account haven't caught up yet. If you want to embody love, practice vulnerability. Open your heart in small, courageous ways. Be the safe, nurturing space you long to find in another. If you want to embody health, practice presence. Listen to your body. Feed it, move it, rest it. Not from punishment, but from respect, care, and alignment. This is the simple path, yet so few walk it, because it asks one radical thing. Go first, become the frequency before the evidence arrives. Lead with being, not needing. And here we meet one of the most misunderstood parts of manifestation: emotional regulation. People assume manifestation means feeling good all the time. It doesn't. It's about feeling real all the time. about bringing your system back into coherence when you wobble, welcoming your emotions without letting them drive the car, holding space for fear without surrendering to it, practicing emotional fluency so you can navigate the waves without drowning in them. Here's the truth. You will wobble. You will doubt. You will have days when the old timeline tugs at your heels. That's okay. The power is not in never falling. It's in how you return. So, here's my invitation to you right now. Take a breath. Notice where you are. Ask yourself, what timeline am I tuned to in this moment? The timeline of fear or the timeline of trust? The timeline of lack or the timeline of abundance? The timeline of waiting or the timeline of arrival? No judgment, just noticing, because the moment you notice, you create a choice point, and choice, pure, conscious choice, is the gateway to coherence. In this next block, we're going to pull everything together. We'll explore how to turn all these insights into a living practice, how to navigate setbacks with grace, and how to sustain the frequency that collapses your dream timeline into reality. But before we move forward, I want to take a moment to acknowledge you. Thank you. Thank you for showing up, for walking this journey this far, for daring to look inside, to question, to feel, to shift. If you're feeling lit up, if something inside you is already stirring, if a quiet recognition is awakening, hit that subscribe button. Join this space, this community, this conversation, and in the comments, drop a single word that captures your intention right now. Maybe it's allow, maybe it's expand, maybe it's flow. Whatever word rises naturally becomes your signal to the field, your vibrational signature of alignment. Now, here we are, the final piece of the puzzle. I want you to really hear this. Manifestation is not a performance. It's not something you master once and for all. It's a practice, a living, breathing, moment by moment, choice by choice art. So many people get stuck in the trap of doing more, trying harder, hacking the system, perfecting formulas. But the truth is, the most powerful manifestors aren't the ones who know the most techniques. They are the ones who have learned how to hold a coherent state, who can regulate themselves back into alignment, even when life shakes them. Because here's reality. You will face moments that test you, days when fear creeps back in, when old patterns whisper, you'll never get there, when the timeline you're trying to leave feels like it's tugging at your heels. And in those moments, temptation arises, the urge to push, to force, to micromanage. But the real mastery, the deep, quantum-level mastery, is this: can you stay in the frequency of trust even when the evidence hasn't arrived yet? Can you hold the vibration of it's already done, even while the world still looks the same? Can you become so anchored in your new timeline that the old one no longer seduces you? This is where embodiment becomes non-negotiable, because quantum manifestation doesn't respond to words, plans, or effort. It responds to being, to coherence, to the steady frequency of your inner state. Embodiment is the difference between chasing and receiving, between struggle and flow, between trying to get and already being. And when you cultivate it, even in the small moments, even when nothing external has shifted, you send a signal the quantum cannot ignore. You become the gravitational center of your desired timeline, and the field, faithful and precise, begins to align around you. This is not theory. This is practice. This is your invitation to live quantum manifestation, not as a strategy, not as a checklist, but as a way of being. So, let's make this practical. Every morning, before your phone, before the world demands your attention, take a few conscious breaths and ask yourself, what frequency am I tuning into today? Scarcity or abundance? Fear or trust? Control or flow? Your body is your compass throughout the day. It will tell you when you've slipped out of alignment. You'll feel the tension, the tightness, the contraction. And in that moment, you don't need to shame yourself. You don't need to spiral into frustration. You just need to notice, breathe, and recalibrate. Ask yourself, What would the version of me, living fully in my desired timeline, choose right now? Then take one small action from that place. At night, before sleep claims you, replay the day, not with judgment, but with curiosity. Where did you wobble? Where did you align? Where did you catch glimpses of your own power? Gratitude amplifies coherence. Acknowledge even the smallest wins. Each moment of alignment strengthens your vibrational signal. Here's something most people miss: community matters. We are social, energetic beings. We co-regulate with those around us. When you surround yourself with people who practice coherence, who explore the quantum field, who are committed to embodiment, your system trains to that vibration naturally. This is why curating your environment is as important energetically as it is physically. Find the voices, the spaces, the communities that remind you who you are becoming. Fill your field with reminders of your chosen timeline. Let your external world become an ally to your internal practice. And remember this: there's no finish line. The point isn't to arrive and then stop. The point is to live in a continuous unfolding, to become the living edge of your own evolution, to not just manifest things, but to become someone who lives as a creator, a co-creator, a conscious participant in shaping reality itself. Here's the most beautiful part: the quantum field is not separate from you. It's not something you manipulate from a distance. It's something you are entangled with. You are the field. You are the wave. You are the observer and the observed. So, when you tune your frequency, you're not asking life to meet you. You're becoming the version of life you've been seeking. And so, I want to leave you with this invitation. In the comments, drop one word that captures the energy you're choosing to carry forward after this video. Maybe it's alignment. Maybe it's ease. Maybe it's power. Maybe it's something uniquely yours. Let that word be a small but profound decoration, a quantum seed you plant, not just in this space, but within yourself. Because each moment you embody that word, you are tuning your frequency. You are broadcasting coherence. And the field responds. This is your practice. This is your living manifestation. This is the truth of your quantum power. And if this video has stirred something inside you, if you've felt a shift, a remembering, a spark, I warmly invite you to subscribe. This isn't just a channel. It's a living space, a gathering point for those ready to step into their own creative power. When you hit subscribe, you're not just joining a list. You're joining a movement of minds and hearts reshaping what's possible. Thank you for walking this journey with me. Thank you for your presence, your attention, your energy. You are not just a viewer. You are a participant in this unfolding. Keep tuning, keep aligning, keep playing in the field. Your frequency matters. Your being shapes reality. And this is just the beginning.